rough sketch. So this is the construction of a piston ring. So this is the ring diameter, okay, and this is the thickness of the piston ring, and this will be the width of the piston ring. So these are the dimensions. So these are the this is the outer face which comes in direct contact with the cylinder assembly. This is the inner face, okay, and this is called as the end gap. So this will help you. This is a very flexible structure. It's not a rigid structure. It will help you in locking the piston ring in the required place. So this is the top face of the piston ring. So this is the construction of the ring. Just take down a rough sketch.
Yes, sir, completely.
Okay. In this sketch, you can see the difference between the compression ring and the oil ring. See, compression ring is a plain ring with the same structure, whereas oil ring has certain holes to drain out the oil. If any oil comes and locks out, it can be sent out. Okay, so this is just a difference, right? So piston rings are usually located towards the top of the piston. You have seen in the piston sketch, at the top three rings location will be there. There you can fit in these rings. They are the flexible structures. The top two rings are called as the compression rings. This I have already explained you. The first two piston rings are called as the compression rings and are designed to maintain the cylinder pressure, whereas the bottommost ring is called as the oil ring. So the top two rings are called as compression and the third is called as the oil ring. Okay. The main function of this compression ring is to seal the combustion chamber gases. As I told you, if this rings gets wore out, what happens is when you accelerate the vehicle, you can see the black smoke. So then you have to refurbish the engine. Okay. So the main function of these rings are to seal the combustion chamber from the crankcase and transfer heat from piston to cylinder only. Okay. They also play a role in controlling the engine oil consumption. So the fourth point I've already explained you. The top two rings serve to seal off the majority of the combustion gases. Okay, the combustion gases will be sealed out by the top two, while the bottom rings provides the oil control. Okay, the middle ring, as I told you, the second ring, middle ring, does the dual function. It will also seal the combustion gases and also it will avoid the oil from leaking into the cylinder. Otherwise, engine oil will be consumed by the cylinder itself, okay, which leads to damage to the engine. Right? So the material usually used for these piston rings are fine grained alloy cast iron, which consists of it's an alloy of cast iron containing silicon and manganese. So it will be very much wear resistant. Right? So this is about the piston ring. You can just note down this point. See, importantly, you have to explain the function of three rings. First ring, it has a function of totally holding the combustion gases. Second ring, dual function of holding the combustion gases, plus it should also avoid the leakage of engine oil into the cylinder. Third ring has a whole and sole part of holding the engine oil from entering into the cylinder. Okay, and the material usually used is fine grained alloy cast iron, which consists of silicon and manganese. Okay, you can just note down these points. Is it done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next important is the piston pin or wrist pin, or it is also called as the gudgeon pin. See, while discussing about piston, I was talking about gudgeon pin. Okay. So what is the main function of this gudgeon pin? It is used to connect the piston and the connecting rod. Okay. So it transfers the combustion pressure and the force to the connecting rod. See, the piston will be pushed by the hot gases in downward direction. Okay. So this energy should be transferred to the connecting rod. Connecting rod in turn gives it to the crankshaft. That is the concept. So this piston pin is a connecting pin which connects the piston and the connecting rod. Okay. Usually this is made up of low carbon case hardened steel. Right. So at the end of this chapter, you have to make a chart. Each part of the engine, what material is it made up of? Okay. So this is the structure, right? So in the earlier sketch you have seen, just 1 second. In this sketch I had shown you here. So this is actually the piston, correct? So here you'll have a piston pin or a gudgeon pin. So this is the connecting rod. So connecting rod will be inserted with the help of this pin. Okay, it will be locked on the both the ends. So it will hold the connecting rod. So here we will be having the cylinder pressure built up because of combustion. So when this piston is moved in downward direction, okay, that force is transferred to the connecting rod. So this connecting rod and piston are connected by the gudgeon pin, or it is also called as piston pin. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So same structure you can see. So here we will be having our piston. So this is the piston. So this is the sleeve region. Okay. Here 3 rings of the piston will be there, and this will be the crown region. This will be the crown region. Okay. So you can see the connecting. This is the connecting rod. Okay, so this piston and connecting rod are connected with the help of the piston pin. Okay, so at the both the ends, snap rings will be put at the end of the gudgeon pin, and it will be locked so that this becomes a rigid structure. It cannot move. So whenever the pressure is there, that will be transferred from piston to the connecting rod. Okay.
Yes,
Next,
sir.
after piston pin, next important component is the connecting rod. See, as we discussed, first we have a piston. Okay, so this piston cylinder arrangement is there. So to that piston, we have a connecting rod. Okay, this connecting rod is connected with the help of a piston pin. So now the structure of the connecting rod, you can see there will be 2 ends. One is the small end bearing, and the second end is the big end bearing. Just take down this rough sketch. So this is the actual pictorial view of the connecting rod, how it looks. Okay. So this end, small end, whatever you can see here, it will be locked with the help of a gudgeon pin or piston pin, whatever we studied now. Okay. Here there will be the piston. When it pushes, so that this will be moving down. The other end will be connected to the crankshaft. Okay. Just each part we are studying in detail, how they are connected, interlinked. Okay. At the end in the animation, I will show you how they are all interlinked. Please make a note of this sketch.
Done, sir.
Okay. So a connecting rod, it is a rigid member which connects a piston to a crank or a crankshaft. Okay. So in a reciprocating engine, together with the crank, it forms a simple mechanism. See, this is the major component which converts the reciprocating motion into rotating motion. We have a piston. Okay. Piston will be actually moving up and down, but we have a crankshaft, okay, which will be rotating on the other end. It is a rotational motion. Piston will have a reciprocating motion. Here you are burning the fuel inside the cylinder. There will be a pressure put on to the piston. So it starts moving up and down. This should be converted to the rotary motion, mechanical energy or rotary motion. So this crankshaft will be rotating. So from where does the crankshaft get the energy? With the help of a gudgeon pin, we will connect the small end of the connecting rod, okay, and the large end of the connecting rod to the crankshaft. So this is the member. Crankshaft connecting rod is the member. So I'll call it as CR. This is the member which converts this reciprocating energy into rotary energy. Okay, that is the prime function of this connecting rod. Okay, so a connecting rod is a rigid member which connects a piston to a crank or crankshaft in a reciprocating engine. Together with the crank, it forms a simple mechanism that will convert the reciprocating motion into the rotary motion. Okay, the connecting rod transmits the power from piston to crankshaft. The top end is called as the small end. Okay, bottom end is the big end. Usually small end is connected to the piston and the big end is connected to the crankshaft. Okay, the connecting rod is usually made up of steel alloy. Okay, drop forged steel alloy. It's a single structure. It's not any assembly. By forging, it is a single structure. Okay, it has usually I-beam cross section to provide maximum rigidity. Right. In this sketch, you can clearly see this is the piston. This yellow color is the piston pin or wrist pin or gudgeon pin. So this is the connecting rod. It will be locked over here, and at the end, snap rings will hold them in position so that this cannot move. Then here, this is the small end of the connecting rod, and this is the big end. So here, this will be connected to the crankshaft. So this will be the crankshaft. Okay, so it will, the rotary motion will be converted, I mean reciprocating motion of the piston will be converted to rotary motion here. Okay, I think we'll wind up here.